Do you own a goldfish? Did you ever own a goldfish? Did you name it? Did you name him or her? It's probably a question that all of us would say yes to, at least at one time in our life. We've probably all owned a goldfish. Did you keep it in a big tank or a little bowl? Well, I painted a goldfish today. I don't know why I wanted to. I just did. And I've seen other painters do goldfish, and they're so much better than me. So I'm not trying to be the goldfish guy. I'm not trying to be the goldfish guy. But you know what? Since everybody probably has owned a goldfish at one point in their life, and everybody probably has a story about the goldfish that they had when they were younger, or that they have now. Maybe there's a story about how they came to own a goldfish, or who knows? Do I have a story? I remember one time walking through a pet shop, and these little goldfish jumped out of the tank onto the floor. Just, I don't know if I scared them or what, but I picked them up, put them back in the tank. It was crazy. I mean, they were little guys, little tiny fish. These are the goldfish that are actually sold to be food for other fish. Holy cow. What a thing, right? I don't want to be that goldfish. But maybe this guy. He looks happy. He's got a big bright eye. He doesn't really have a smile, but he's looking for food. All right, enough of my silly stuff here. Let's go to show you, as long as I didn't erase it this time. Yesterday I erased it. Don't know what the heck I did, but I erased it. So today, let's see if I have the whole video there. If you're watching this, it's probably there. All right, here we go. This picture, we're going to use 3 colors, I hope. We'll see how this works out. And of course, the 3 colors are primary colors: blue, yellow, and red. Specifically, ultramarine blue, lemon yellow, and scarlet. And all 3 of them are gouache, and all 3 of them are made by Master's Touch, the company. I am not an expert on the paint companies. I don't spend a whole lot of money on these paints, so they might be student grade. I don't really know. They probably are. I know you normally see me using the pan watercolors, but today I'm using these, and they are gouache, so if they dry, I can still use them as watercolors. And I want to do this painting like watercolors. The reason I'm using the gouache is because I think my pans are a little bit dirty, messy. I kind of like them that way, but as you can see, they almost all look the same color. But I love these colors, don't get me wrong. I just thought I wanted to do this goldfish, this fantail or veil-tail goldfish. And I'm going to kind of try to do it like I'm illustrating a children's book. So I want to do it very watercolory. Very watercolory. So what I want to do is I want to make most of the picture the fish. You hear the garbage truck outside? Whoa, it's loud. So let's just get the front of the fish where the mouth is. And the fish has almost has a sad face. It's got a little bit of a turned down mouth, you know? So just try to sketch it in there. I have a reference photo I'm using off the internet. I don't have a goldfish, and I certainly don't have a fantail or a veil-tail goldfish. But to me, when I see them in the pet store, do they still have pet stores? I'm not even sure if pet stores are still around. But when I see them, when I have seen them, I always thought they looked so wispy. I don't know if that's the right word, but they just looked so... There's something beautiful, something angelic about them. And you think most goldfish, they say, will grow to become very big. Isn't that what they say? And I think what I want to do also is I want to define the face and then be very ambiguous about the rest of it. I want it to be very, very, very wispy. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, if I'm saying it the right way. But I want it to be very wispy. So that's kind of where his head goes, and this is kind of where his gills are. And it goes up and comes down. And then it has this big old fluffy tail that just goes everywhere. And it has this big old dorsal fin. It's going to the back of the card. So we're going to make sure we include the back of the card. So when somebody opens it, they'll see, oh, there's more on the back. And the reason I wanted to use 3 colors is so that I could kind of experiment with the good old-fashioned art skills. How about that? Just the good old-fashioned art skills. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna want to go buy a goldfish after I'm done with this picture. That's why I'm not painting food, because I don't want to have to go right out and get food. I want the things I'm painting. Like if I'm painting yesterday, or many days I paint landscapes, and I always want to go visit the place I'm painting. Even if it's a place I've been before, I still want to go visit it. So there's our very wispy. I want it very sketchy. And I want it very orange at the top, very orange. So let's just start with the goldfish. And I want the goldfish to be lighter than the background, but it's going to look darker at first. So let's see if we can mix these colors to get what we want. So we're going to take some of that red, make it very watery, because I want this to be watercolor. And take some of this yellow and make an orange that we really like. If I'm saying the word orange wrong, then that's because I'm from New York originally. I know that some people say orange, and I say orange. It's funny. Huh? All right, that looks good. I like that already. Yeah. I like it. We got a little bit more red in there. Yeah. That looks all right. Okay, a little bit of his fin. Let's get around his eye. And a little bit more yellow on the bottom, I think. I think the bottom is more yellow than red. Oh yeah, it's already happening. This might be a quick one. Get him very yellow on the bottom. I'm going to get him yellow and orangish red up top. Oh yeah, I might do more than one layer here. And then the blue possibly will be used, even though there's no blue in the fish, but I might use the blue as a way to create some shadows on the bottom. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out. And then some of these fins are almost white. So let me do that idea with the blue. Let me get some darker. So some darker colors on the bottom. Just add a tiny bit of blue. Right there, some of these shadows. And inside his mouth. Or would it be her mouth? They say goldfish have a very short memory. I wonder if that's true. I wonder how they know. How do you test a goldfish? Alright, let's get some of this red down here for this fin. Very good. Some of these reddish, orange colors here. I'm not really worrying about like individual scales on the fish. I kind of like I had in mind, I wanted to do this sort of like a children's illustration for a children's book. That's kind of what I had in mind. Yeah, a little bit more blue. I'm afraid if I had too much blue, it's going to look green. I don't want that. It's a little bit darker down there. A little bit of shadow underneath that fin right there. There we go. Alright, now let's take this orange and yellow and kind of spread it throughout the rest of the fish to make it look very watercolory. That was the other plan today, was to have a watercolor painting. Boy, the paper I'm using as a palette is too big. Just have it wispy. Even though that looks orange, it's going to hopefully look white when we're done, or at least light color. All these wispy fins. Can he control? Can the goldfish control every one of these fins? Are they like fingers? How does that work? Are you wondering if I have a poem about goldfish? Are you wondering? I did find one. I did find one. Well, there's our goldfish. I think I like him. Wow, that didn't take much time at all. I am going to let it dry and then add some more depth to some of that, but I'm also going to use my ink. Yes, my pen and ink, because his eye, gotta make sure it's dry right there. It kind of is. So his eye is basically just a black dot. Just a black circle. That's his whole eye. And the inside of his mouth is dark. And I don't want to trust the paint because I'm afraid my brush won't quite do it right. But I just want to make it a little bit dark in there. And then we'll bring it out. I guess a goldfish has no teeth. What do you think? I've never studied goldfish. Is it true? Is it true that a goldfish will grow to become very large if you put him in a pond? I had a goldfish for a while. I really did. I had it in a little goldfish bowl. Alright, now let him dry. That's all I'm going to do there. Now I got to get some of that, got to keep that one area yellow. I got to use that small brush. Where is it? Here it is. Alright, now we're going to take the blue, kind of put some down here. It's still a little wet, so I guess I won't mess with it too much. And then over here around his eye, looks like it's got a little bit of shadow there. And then in his mouth, some of this orange color. It's a little deeper. Just kind of spread it around there. And go ahead and use some of that blue. Give his mouth a little bit of a look there. Okay. Just a little bit there. Okay, this is actually the water coming through it, or the look of the water. Water that down a lot. Just to create a little bit of shadow here and there. What do you think of our goldfish? He's not a bad-looking goldfish. And I do like the idea of doing it as similar to the way I would do a children's illustration in a children's book. We should write a book about goldfish. Robin wrote a book about sea turtles. A whole children's book about sea turtles. It's called The Guardians of the Sea Turtles. And I illustrated it. And it's probably one of the best selling children's books that I was part of. There's a place here in Florida where they rescue sea turtles. And that's what the book is based on. I can't remember the name of the place. But it's in South Florida somewhere. I think it's near Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter, I think. It's near Jupiter. Anyway, add a little bit more red to that. Maybe the real trick is to make the shadow almost like a purple. So it's got that red going on. Hey, you know what? It's an illustration, so we can take liberties here. We can have some fun with this guy. A couple of colors that might not really be realistic. That's the fun part, right? Is having fun with goldfish. And I like the way the water is taking the gouache and giving it some character. What do you think? Yeah, I like that. A little more up here. What's going on in the goldfish's brain? And then, of course, there's that dancing light that happens underwater. In Florida here, we have a place called Silver Springs. And in its heyday, I'm saying like the 50s and maybe early 60s and stuff. So they used to take pictures of girls underwater and publish them. And I think that's how the whole mermaid thing started in Florida. We have a whole mermaid thing here, and Gouache is what it's called. But anyway, Robin and I, because of our radio show, we got to interview the guy who was the photographer of those girls. He has since passed. He has passed. Oh, I got something to tell you about his passing, because he really took a liking to us. His name is Bruce Mozart, almost like the composer Mozart, but it's Mozart, M-O-Z-E-R-T. And yeah, he took a liking to us, and he had us. He did like these. He was a funny guy. He did these comedy videos with people underwater, mostly girls, some guys, but they're doing things underwater. They're playing cards. They're mowing the lawn underwater. They're reading the newspaper. They're serving breakfast, and it's kind of fun. But anyway, so we had these comedy things he did, and he knew Robin and I from the radio show, and he had us narrate those little short videos he did, those films. He called them films. I guess we call them videos now. Yeah, there's our fish. There's our fish in the water. Is he a son or is he a daughter? Hey, I made up a poem. There's our fish in the water. Is he someone's son or someone's daughter? Does he think about anything? Is it true he has no memory, or very short memory? Does it matter to him that I'm thinking about him or her? Yeah. So what I'd like to do also is mess with the yellow and the blue together so we get some green colors in here. So we'll do that. I think let's leave that like it is. There we go. There's our goldfish. Now, I don't know how difficult this is going to be to do this water. I'm trying to think. I'm going to take the red. Not the red. The blue and the yellow. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of off to the side there. But I'm going to make some blue-green if I can. Yeah, I'm going to spread that around on the bottom. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. I wanted to make the background darker than the fish. So I'm just going to take the blue and the green. I probably could get away with using the big brush. Let me do some of this stuff behind his fins first. See, that looks green right there. That looks green. There we go. Spread it out. Use some of this yellow down here. I think I will use some pure yellow just to give a little hint. It's still wet down there. A little bit of, it doesn't look wet, but it must be wet. It's not working. I want to add a few. I wasn't going to do fins, but I was thinking maybe I should add some fins to the bottom. All right, let me just add some yellow and then I'll come back to it. Yeah, I think that yellow looks good mixed in there. I'll do the same thing over here. Kind of billow it out. So these are called fancy goldfish, right? Fancy or veiled tail? Veiled tail. Town in Colorado, right? No, I'm just teasing. I know. Vail, Colorado. It's another place I've not been yet. Do you guys have bucket lists of places you want to go? I have a bucket list. Mine's very short. I don't have anything exotic, really. I want to see the town my mother was born in, which was in Germany. It's called Velbert. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before. All right, let's see. Let's go for the green and the blues. Should we put bubbles? Do goldfish blow bubbles? I don't know. I gotta make sure it's not gonna be wet on wet because I don't want it to spread. But I do want it to be watercolory looking. Spread it out. Spread it out. Just make sure the goldfish is dry. That's a funny thing. If I was a goldfish, I wouldn't want to be dry. That could be the end of me, right? Don't want to be a dry goldfish. Just make it look deep blue. He's in the deep blue sea. If he's truly in the deep blue sea, then he's going to grow to be very large, from what they say. And when I say they, you know who I mean. I mean they. They say everything. But I don't know who they are. They. You know what they say? You ever have an argument with somebody or debate, and they will say, you know what they say, and then of course your response is easy. Well, tell me who they are, because you can't quote somebody if you don't know who they are. Okay, and then it gets into an argument, right? or somebody will say, I can't remember where I read this, but I did read this someplace, and you go, well, that's not good enough. You can't tell me you read it someplace and not tell me where, because that's a weak debate point. Or how about this one? It's common knowledge. It's common knowledge. And they're debating something like, oh, I don't even want to tell you what things people debate, because if you just watch the news, it's everything. And that's not what I'm about. But it's kind of funny. The human behavior is funny. Goldfish. Now, they don't have debates. I guess not. Boy, I'm definitely wanting to go get a goldfish now. So I wanted the top to be more translucent blue. So let's try and do some of that very watered down blue at the top, or blue-green. Make it darker toward the bottom. Yeah, just get that water everywhere. A little bit darker maybe there since I have it already there. Okay, I'm going to use the big brush now. It looks a little bit too blotchy to me. I need to really spread it out, get this water everywhere. Let's just go for it. Let's just bring it everywhere. And then maybe I could do a couple of tricks maybe where you pull the water up, you know? When the light dances on the fish. Yeah, let's make this back area a lot darker. This is going to need a second coat, I think. Second layer. So there's a place not too far from here that Rob and I like to walk in. It's a park called Sholem Park. Almost like Shalom, but it's Sholem. It's actually named after the grandfather, I think, of the man who built it. Or maybe it was his uncle. His name was Sholem, S-H-O-L-O-M. And it's a beautiful park, and they have a pond, and in the pond are, I don't know if they're koi, I don't know what you call them. They look like goldfish to me. And I just love them. And they have this vending machine there where you can buy food for the fish. And, you know, animals are amazing, and they know. Those animals know that we humans are up there putting our quarter into that machine, and they know that there's going to be food thrown into the water at any minute. And they do, they wait. There used to be a resort down in Orlando called the Stouffer. I don't know if it's still there or not. It might be now called the, what do they call it? The Gaylord Palms, I think. I think that used to be the Stouffer. I could be wrong about that. But they had in the Stouffer this pond, like this indoor pond, very big. And it had fish in it, large fish, like goldfish, like koi or whatever. And my son was young at that time, with the time I'm going to tell you a story about. I worked in radio. And the radio broadcasters had a meeting down there. And everybody was so serious. I was never that serious about it. But everybody was listening to the speaker talk, and I had my little guy with me. Alex was just a little kid. And I was getting so bored with it, with the meeting. But I didn't want to just walk out. So I pretended that Alex had to use the bathroom. and I said to the guy at the door, I said, we'll be right back. But I knew I wasn't going to come back. And Alex and I walked over to the pond where these fish were. And we had some potato chips with us. From the meeting, yeah, they gave you little snacks, whatever. Little bag of chips. And yeah, the fish knew right away that there's humans up there are going to feed us. So that was a great memory for me. You know what? I don't think I'm done yet. I like to put vertical lines and things. Do you hear that garbage truck? Wow. They're so loud out there. So I'm putting little wisps that might be grass or seaweed or whatever. Let's mess up the back a little bit. Let's spread that water. That's the back of the card. How's our goldfish looking? You guys have probably done goldfish. I haven't done too many of them. Too many paintings. You're probably screaming at the camera right now, at your screen. Larry, you're doing it wrong. You're messing up. I know. I mess up a lot. I do mess up a lot. People always will say, that's my middle name. Not about me, but I mean about themselves. That would be mean if they said it about me. But people will say about themselves, they'll say, my middle name is Hungry, or my middle name is Mess Up. Isn't that funny? It's kind of a figure of speech that it's kind of interesting. Right, I purposely added some red right there just to darken that part of the fish. Because what I want to do is I want to put some of that dancing light on the fish. I guess we can call that his gill right there. All right, I think I've made up my mind. I'm going to go buy a goldfish. Maybe a little bit darker green down here on the bottom. Blue-green. Maybe some more what might be grass, whatever. Here we go, we can put some grass in front of him. All right, now it's kind of wet down there. I'm going to let it dry. I do have a poem I want to read to you. It's called Goldfish Are Ordinary, and it's by Stacy Casarino. So let's let that dry, and while it's drying, I'll read you the poem from Stacy Casarino. This is what she writes. At the pet store on Court Street, I search for the perfect fish. The black moor, the blue damsel, cichlids, and neons. Something to distract your sadness. Something you don't need to love you back. Maybe a goldfish. The flaring tail, orange, red-capped, pearled body, the darting translucence. Goldfish are ordinary, the boy selling fish says to me. I turn back to the tank. All of this grace and brilliance, such simplicity, the self could fail to see. In 3 months, I'll leave this city. Today, a chill in the air. You're reading Beckett 50 blocks away. I'm looking at the orphaned bodies of fish, undulant and gold fervor. Do you want to see aggression? The boy asks, holding a purple betta fish to the light while dropping handfuls of minnows into the bowl. Whoa. He says, I know you're a girl and all, but sometimes it's good to see. Outside in the rain, we love with our hands tied, while things tear away at us. Whoa, that's a very deep poem. It's more than about goldfish. But I love how she uses the phrase goldfish are ordinary as a statement from the boy who's not impressed with goldfish, obviously. He's more impressed by the betta fish, the ones that you can't put together. Well, that was an interesting poem. Did I give myself enough time to let this dry? I do think I'm going to use white. Here we're going to use white, and this is the white. It's gouache, and it's made by the M. Graham and Company. The reason I have such a large white is because white gets used a lot. Not so much in watercolor, which is kind of sort of what I'm trying to do here, but when I do need white in watercolor, I don't use the white in the watercolor tray. I use the white from the gouache tube. So I think I just want to accentuate some of these areas on the fish's fins. And I also want to, let me see, I'm going to mix that yellow and that white, kind of get a white yellow. I want to try to get some of those, there we go. There we go. I want to try and put some of these scales. I wasn't going to do scales, but I really think it'll add something to the luminescence of the fish. There we go. A little bit. Yeah. Maybe around his eye. couple of areas on his back. A little bit of white. A little bit of white down here. Let's get some white over here. Reflecting off of him. What do you think? What do you think of our fish? Yeah, it's kind of, I'm using it in an opaque way so I can paint over. Paint over some of it. The fancy fantail, the fancy veil tail. Does the fish even know we consider him fancy? Do you even know that somebody considers you special? I hope so. I hope you know that. I do hope that. I hope that in my youth, I hope that the people who were my elders, I hope they knew that I thought they were special. I admired some of my uncles, looked up to them. Well, I would say all of my uncles. I was one of those lucky kids, you know. I always hear stories about people with bad childhoods, and I'm so grateful that I wasn't one of them. But maybe you were, so I understand when you don't want to talk about your childhood. So, what do you think about our fish? He's okay. He's okay. Do I want to make the background darker now that it's drying? It's not dry yet, but it's drying. And do I want to yeah, I think I do want to make it darker. I think I do. Not everywhere, just in places. And I'll take that red and add to it right there. Just like that, just to spread it out and make it a little bit more mysterious behind the fish. Maybe the fish is coming out into the light. Just darken it. I don't want it to be perfectly blue or perfectly green or perfectly purple. Spread this out a little bit, make it look like that grass is easier to see. That's what we do. Spread that out a little bit more. Now somebody will get this card and maybe they will go buy a goldfish. Maybe the card will start a whole new trend. One person buys a goldfish and another person buys a goldfish. Before you know it, everybody's got goldfish. All these little wisps that look like seaweed or whatever. And bring some of them up into the fish, I guess. Hope I'm not making a mistake by doing that. He's looking for food. He's looking for food. That's the constant of all living things. Always looking for food. Did you ever read the book Jonathan Livingston Seagull? Jonathan was not always looking for food. He was looking to be a better flyer. He was looking to get faster and better at his God-given skill, which is flying. I became a fan of, was it Richard Bach? Was that the author? I became a fan of his work. I read a few of his books after I read Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I think one that I remember was The Bridge Across Forever. I don't know if you ever read that one. Alright, let's get some of this green in here. Get some of this to look green. And then I think what I'll do, just to give it a little bit more interesting look, is I'll take some of this green and I'll make it very light. Very light. Bring it across here. Some of that yellow green. See, now our fish is in a place where he can find food. See, before he was just in a bowl. Now he's in a natural environment. Now I'm happier for the fish. I'm happier for the fish. One more. Let's go ahead and try and do just a few specks of light here, just reflecting off of them. Oh well, did I go too far? Is this going to be one of those when I look at the video later on, I liked it better earlier? Maybe. What do you think? You think that's done? It's our goldfish for the day. I think I want to put a little bit of light in his eye. A little bit of reflective area. Ooh, is that too much? Get it back to the watercolor. Let the water do its thing again. The birds are outside. Alright, I think he's done. I think we're done with our goldfish. And it is sort of like a picture that you would do, or illustration you would do for a children's book. Let me let it dry and I'll be right back. Okay, it's dry. Let me fold it. See if we like it. There it is. It's our goldfish card. I think I like it. Well, it is what it is. Isn't that what they say? All right. Well, that's it for today. All right. I'll see you later. Bye. All right, let me pop on a little bit to end this video, an added part. So when I looked at the first picture, what you saw me do, it looked like the fish had been in a fight. It looked very raggedy. It looked like those fins weren't very fluffy like I wanted them to look. And so I took the wet brush and I kind of just washed it down a little bit. Now, I don't think it's still the way I want it to look, but I just wanted to share that with you. I did. Either I improved it or I messed it up. I'm not sure. Hey, we're in this together, right? We're learning together. And hey, on the Facebook group, if you want to show me how you do fish, I would love to see it, because I need to learn a little bit more about how to paint goldfish fins, the fluffy ones, you know? I probably could pull it off if I used it as opaque gouache, but I was trying to use it as watercolor. All right, well, that's the end. See you later.